touring, like you had some tips on how to tour. We can run through, but what I'd like to touch on first is, let's say there's some of the guys in here have started booking their own tours themselves, but if you're somebody that's kind of playing once or twice a month, or once a week, and you've not started touring, um what are the things that you really believe they need to have in place before they can start doing it?
Um, well, all of these things, we talked about to be getting, making music, building a network, hone your skills as an artist. A DJ is only as good as like his technique and record collection. So focus all of your attention into that, getting good content of that, practicing DJing so you're better than anybody else, and also invest that time in your music hunting. Don't just play the Beatport top 10. Go and impress people with your music caliber and find new places to find music until you're like really interesting to watch, where you're not just playing the same tracks as everybody else. Your social media is obviously really important, as Mikey is an expert in. He did my social media for years. Make sure your EPK is ready. Be willing to flex in your musical style is something as well that's going to get you more gigs. If you're like a techno DJ, it's going to be quite hard to find gigs because techno clubs are, you've got to break in there, and you might want to be EPK is a electronic press kit. So all of your press kit, I just saw somebody, Andrew. So, be willing to play in bars and clubs where the music's a little bit more lighthearted, so you can start and hone your craft as a DJ, playing like kind of disco house or something, which is a bit more accessible than just the dark stuff, because it's quite hard to, but be ready to do that. But to get onto those lineups is a lot more difficult than it is to find a gig playing to people that are a bit more not as underground. So everything like that. Doing, what else have we got? Record lots of mixes, because basically people need to know what you sound like as a DJ. So record lots of mixes and show versatility. Don't just make a mix of club bangers all the time. Because that's one type of gig you're going to get. Show that you can warm up a room properly with some more eclectic, interesting styles. Because to start with, you're not going to get the headline slot. You're going to get booked for the opening slot. So show that you can handle that, because that's the most important slot of the night. And if you can play that well and get a vibe going in a room without playing the biggest records in the world, then you're going to be popular with promoters, and then you're going to start really working your way up the lineup.
That really comes back to the be interesting thing. I mean, I think that the death of so many artists' careers are just when they're just banging out the Beatport top 10 or the just the standard tech house set. That's really the same as 100 other guys that were looking for the gig. It's that be interesting thing that I think that was one of your biggest assets, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Just being able to jump, like when I did my residency for places like Ibiza Rocks, 1 week I'd be on after The Prodigy, 1 week I'd be on after LCD Sound System, the next week I'd be on after Disclosure or Dizzy Rascal or Andy C or Grandmaster Flash, whoever it was, I was the man for the job to jump in and keep that vibe alive and or warm them up properly. And that's my biggest skill, is like an encyclopedia of music that can go on and play after anybody comfortably and keep that energy right. And that's, obviously later in my career, I moved into something that I was more passionate about musically, and stuck to my guns as a house music artist. And, before that, I had to hone my craft as a DJ. So now I can walk to any dance floor in the world. And obviously I don't compromise as much as I used to and play hip hop and stuff, but I know what they're into, and I can find something in my music that will appeal to them, no matter what the dance floor anywhere in the world. Within 2 or 3 records, I can work out what kind of a crowd they are and make them enjoy themselves, even if they're not necessarily into exactly what I would normally play. So you've got to remember, you're there. You're not there for yourself. You're there, especially when you're an up and coming artist. As you become an established artist, you can play more your own music and exactly how you want, and don't take requests. But until that point, you're there, and more than ever, to play and give that crowd a good time. So you've got to respect that. And, if you're killing the dance floor because you're being self-indulgent, you're not going to get booked again. But if you're rocking it because you're compromising, and you don't have to compromise that much with with house music, play some acapellas and some samples or tracks that have samples of stuff that they'll recognize, and they'll get into it. And then you can play an underground one. And I always think it's like one for you, one for me. Play something that they're going to enjoy, then slip something in that's like something that's going to educate them a bit. But if it's not working, be ready to get the shit out of there and back to something they'll enjoy again. And it's just that tug. And, you know, half the room's going to want the underground stuff, half the room's going to want to be play stuff they know. And you've just got to find that balance and you know, give that crowd a good time, because that's what you're there for. It's not about you, it's about them.
That's the art. I remember you played Dublin. I think it might have been 2016, 2017. I think there was quite a bit of drink taken at that point. And I remember you closed out the room with Riverdance.
Yeah. I love a bit. I love a. Yeah, I love playing Irish music in Ireland.
It was a strictly underground set until that point, but the room still went off at a bit of Riverdance. I think everybody got the joke. That was a special moment.
It's the biggest track of the night. No question about it.